example, NQ has been on this downside and everything else. We got a whole entire push. We did fill the gap here. We got this one that half. There is one that's up here, and then there's the rest of this one that ends over at Bitcoin. Bitcoin drop. I warned y'all. I know everyone that supports Bitcoin want to see this break above 125. This 100,000 has to gold. Gold is at that 4,000 mark, but it is a fist fight for that 4,000 mark. I do think that we're going to be coming down to somewhere around, and last but not least is the US dollar. Look for a strong rejection somewhere around here, and that's where our Santa rally will be built. So hey, good morning, everybody. I just want to go ahead and give you a quick update. I am working on a major project. Got recruited to kind of do for someone in particular, and it's going to take the entire day. So there will be no get rich and fit trying, and there will be just this little snippet of what I have for my OES community. If you don't have access to my OES community, down below you will find the description, so that way you can go ahead and get a free trial. Shout out to all my 500 subscribers. I want to say thank you very much for being the support system that has allowed me to be where I am right now. So my thank you to you is access to OEOS, one shot, one entry, as we go ahead and take our game to the next level. That said, I want to just kind of break down a couple of things that I see here. For example, NQ has been on this downside and everything else. We got a whole entire push. We did fill the gap here. We got a few others that I am curious about. We got this one that happened. There's one that popped in here. There is one that's up here, very tiny. You won't be able to see it. And then there's the rest of this one that ends over at 24,188. I think that's where the market wants to go before we do that Santa rally. But we got a tough order block. This whole entire thing can hold up. I'm thinking psychological 25,000 will be the best spot, even though they're fighting for 25,500 right now. So just make sure you're planning your trades accordingly. I just want to go ahead and run through these as quickly as possible. Oil did get, no, that's not oil, that is the dollar. All right, oil did get inside of this order block right here, and it's having a little bit of trouble to get out of that. And then we have ourselves gold. Gold is at that 4,000 mark, but it is a fist fight for that 4,000 mark. I do think that we're going to be coming down to somewhere around take profit is going to be 3,800. So we'll see how this ages over time. Right now, the silver, I told y'all, charted. You can see what's happening with that. I'm not even going to go into detail with that one. And then the British pound, this is the one that's putting weight on the dollar's strength, right? If the British pound continues to lose value, which is the remainder of this head and shoulder, and now it looks like a very oversized M, and if that's the case, if this is the M and that's what they're going to be panning out on, then we're going to take the shorter side of it, which is from here to here, and this is the extension of that move from that M, which brings us to the 50% is roughly here of that previous head and shoulders, and that is probably the move that they're looking for. So just keep that in mind. Also, we have wrong one. Bitcoin drop. I warned y'all. Listen, I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer, and I'm just telling you these are the warning signs. If you draw your levels the proper way, and again, join OEOS. I promise you, I will teach you everything that you need to know, because there's free classes and I break things down to the best of my knowledge, so that way you can be prepared for anything. All right, it's not about being right, it's being prepared, because they're going to try to fight you. They're going to try to fight you. I know everyone that supports Bitcoin want to see this break above 125. This 100,000 has to hold. If it does not, we're coming all the way back to April. We're coming back to April, and this is going to disappoint a lot of people that has Bitcoin. I did sell my Bitcoin for the most part. I have only the ones that I invested with that I don't mind losing whatever value it is, but it's roughly around 116 when I knew that 125 was sitting on fluff. If you don't know how to recognize these things, I'm telling you this right now. Join OEOS. This free Discord is down below. The description will detail everything to you. All right, so let's go ahead and keep this going. We got the Russell. Russell's pulling back. It needs to pull back because they're going to need cheaper prices on the Russell so that way they can pour their money into the small caps as we get more domestic centric. This is where all our domestic companies sit. And then the last but not least is the US dollar. I'm telling you, this is a force of nature. Let me go ahead and fix this EMA because I was talking to a good friend of mine while we was doing the charting class, and they like the 5 EMA, but I like to keep this as the 50 so that way I can be able to see what's going on here. But we're going straight into the 200-day moving average, and this is the struggle that it's in right now. Look for a strong rejection somewhere around here, and that's where our Santa rally will be built. So be patient. Don't force anything, and you should be in a very, very, very key situation. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick recap for some of my people over at OEOS because they've been asking me about this video, and I want to go ahead and break it down. So the way this works for y'all over at OEOS, I just want to make sure y'all understand. Whenever the alerts come in, I want you to do two things. I want you to assess where it is in your strategy. That's the most important part, because it doesn't matter what the alert says, it's about it, does it fit your strategy? And then I want you to go ahead and plan properly. So let's just go ahead and take one of the alerts. Let's see. Switch. Okay. All right. So for example, let's talk about the new alert that's coming in. It's called Pinky, and what Pinky is supposed to give you opportunities that present itself based on the time frame. So we're going to talk about Tesla on the 30-minute, right? So when the alert came into the system, the alert was kind of warning that there's a possibility we're going to get ourselves some movement to the upside. Again, if you get that alert, like something like this was an entry, but this stop loss has to be hit. And then if it comes back up here, cool, no problem. Take the entry and then it should go up. And I'll give you another example of that because this was a Pinky that actually showed up on Friday, I think it was, no, Thursday, right? So this one actually happened, but what did they do? They dropped it down, and then the entry actually happened somewhere around here. It did hit the stop loss, but guess what it did? Entered again, and Monday we had our pop. So these things can happen. Stop holding on to trades. It's not the way the game goes, okay? So just understand that's the Pinky. And then let's talk about I want to do UNH, but you know what? I'll do UNH and I'll do Eli Lilly also. Let's see, Lilly was on the 3rd. All right, so that's over here. So LLY on the 15-minute, right? It tells you it's on the 15-minute, and it says for you to go long, right? So when it said to go long, it was over in this area here. So when you're looking at this is basically saying that the setup is here. TP1 and TP2 should be assessed. If you need the levels, I'm gonna have a picture posted on what my relative levels are. Listen, you don't have to follow it exactly because it's not an exact science. It's about it fitting your strategy. So don't just copy the numbers without understanding what you're looking for. So I'm gonna post that inside the Discord so that way you can be able to understand how all of it works. And listen, catch my morning shows, BYTTT. It's on YouTube every single day to the best of my ability. Of course, things are going to pop up, but if you watch the show, I break down a lot of these individual tickers, especially during this season because we're in the height of the earnings season. And also, I break down the indices. The indices drives the tickers. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? I think that's where the indices come into play. I still don't know which one comes first between chicken and egg, but you get the metaphor, right? So look at this level. Nice positive move to the upside right there, and then take your profits. Look what they did. Took their profits. it triggered a short, but then we got one more pop here. Why? Because that entry is still strong, because they're looking at this level 888. My goal is to give you the key levels to the best of my ability. All right, let's go over to UNH because this one did something that was very unique. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, you just have to follow suit. It's just the way the game goes. So we got a nice little move. Again, I want y'all to take TP1 with majority of your position. All right, I repeat, I want y'all to take majority of your position off the table when it hits TP1. If you want to keep it running, cool, no problem. But you have to be prepared that there can be pullback and you can lose that entire runner. So maybe make a rule not to lose more than 20% of that runner, or whatever the case may be. Find a way for it to fit you. All right, so now we got a nice little drop off that happens here. Boom, that was our entry. Boom, then it pushed down. Boom, then we had this whole entire pullback. It gave you multiple opportunities to take it at TP1. If you still carried it over this time, then you were just asking for trouble. You carried it overnight, you really was a little bit concerned because it just drifted up, and I think this is part of the reason, but then it still gapped down. Do not catch the FOMO. I understand why people can catch that FOMO. It gave another entry based on this parameter, playing it down, that right here, but it triggered another alert saying to swing it back to the upside. It did not give an entry, right? So this one, you have to make a determination. If I'm not getting an entry based on this parameter, it's not hitting that yellow line, I can either A, hold on to my original trade because I'm on this one and it dropped, or I re-entered and it dropped to TP1, or whatever the case may be. You got to make those decisions. Now, it did gap down and then it drifted right back up, so just be prepared that that can happen again. The market does not repeat itself, but it tends to rhyme, so just pay attention. If it does this, then it might do that, okay? All right, so last but not least, I want to say thank you to everybody. Like I said, I didn't think I'll get to 500 subscribers. It was really difficult, and a lot more than I thought it would have been. The next milestone is 1,000. That's what it is, and you know, I probably gonna have to put some real footwork to that. I want to get outside of my office and kind of pan that out, which is what my majority of my project is going to be done with today. So I suggest that y'all check out OEOS. See if there's things that you like. Again, it's free. If you don't like it, then you know, no skin off my back. I'm still going to do the work because that's how I operate. But that said, I bid you a fond farewell. I'll see you on the other side. Yeah, have an amazing, profitable day, as I'll be probably trading on the road. All right, yeah, have a great day.